Welcome everybody to a ranked team game of around the 2600 elo range. We're playing as Bulgarians in the gray against our flank Big Cook in the red, playing as Britons. Now, I'm primarily going to focus on our matchup because, to be honest, during the game I had no idea what was going on with green, blue, orange, and yellow. We got Lithuanians versus Persian pockets. We have a Mans versus Ethiopian flank. But to be honest, I was all focused in this region here. I'm not good enough to pay attention to what's going on with my teammates. Generally, a lot of times, there's some little communication I try to help out here and there, but I'm not a pro or anything. I don't have that high of APM to really deal with it. But anyways, for our matchup, we're doing Britons versus Bulgarians, and generally, as far as flanks are concerned, Britons I think is top tier. It's one of the best. It's actually really good on Four Lakes, for example, because they can go for just 5 villagers on herdables while they go for early lumber camp, and that way they can get their dock and fish going earlier. And it also helps that he's way closer to his fish than I am. I have to travel quite a long way to get there, and it's kind of dangerous to do so. Also, you know, come Castle Age, and I'm coming forward here because I like to scout my opponent early. I like to try to practice doing boar lames. Usually, like 80% of the time, it just results in the enemy getting an advantage on me because I don't do a good job. I end up like losing villagers. I end up idling my TC. I like to do it though because it's good practice in terms of like a high pressure situation. Oh, and I found some sheep here. I'm gonna try to send those back, which I don't know. The morals of that's a little bit questionable. I should probably just send these straight to his TC. I feel a little bit bad about doing that, but luckily he comes back. He grabs his sheep anyway, so he's chilling. But anyways, I like to practice boar lames just because of the high stress situation. I feel like it helps me learn to play better under pressure, under high stress, under having to do multiple things at once. So that's why I practice it. I don't think I lose any villagers at home while I'm trying to scout him out here. I'm finding the lakes really kind of far away, and then I'm scouting over here. And of course, I'm basically going to discover all his sheep for him, so I'm not sure what was going on with his scouting. Maybe he just got really unlucky with finding sheep. I start sending these back, but then he finds that one. I'm not sure if he ends up coming to get these sheep. I'm still just scouting around. I find his villager over here. I probably could kill the villager at this point, because he has no loom. If I blocked it, well, maybe. He probably would have made it back, but I didn't want to really try to just get a vill kill. I'd rather have my health for the boar lame I'm going to attempt, because more than likely, I'm going to need all the health on that scout by the end of it if I manage to get it back here, because boar laming is not my expertise. So, I found the boar. I think I'm mostly okay at home. I probably am going to idle some eco here, but I'm going to go in for it. And my timing on this couldn't have been better, because he literally was, I don't know, a split second from getting the first hit, but I just barely got it from him. So, I guess the upside here is I idled his villager a little bit. I'm sure at home, I'm probably going to idle some eco here. You'll see, I see a scout coming in. I'm going to start kind of zigzagging back and forth to try to keep it. I'm doing my other boar lure here, trying to keep this thing going as well, zigging back and forth to stay in the line of sight of that boar, just to keep it following me. I don't think I lost a villager here, but I'm idling this character. And I let in another boar hit there, which is rough. He probably could hit me there. I'm sure he's maybe idling some of his eco, trying to manage this as well. I'm idling my TC because I'm too focused on trying to get the boar the rest of the way there. I garrison my villagers to shoot his scout. So in the end, he got low scout HP, and then I probably could have avoided letting my scout die there, but I didn't. But anyways, got the boar, lost the scout, got some idle time, but I really do want to practice this just to get better at doing that sort of thing. I also sent my villager out here to dock. You can see he's already docked due to the earlier lumber camp, and he had less distance to go. So he's going to get on the fishing eco first. And the other thing is, with Four Lakes, the boar lure is a lot less deadly because you have this fishing eco that's going to save you anyways. And he goes for these deer kills, which are right next to his berries anyways. So he's really chilling. I don't think I ended up doing that much damage to him. I ended up probably doing more damage to myself by killing my scout, as well as idling my TC. Unless he had also some TC idle time. I don't know, I wasn't checking on it. But anyways, I'm up here. I only have 1 fishing ship by the time he has 2 out. That's the difference in, I probably idled my eco more than he did. He probably had maybe a little bit better eco management there, and he didn't, he had Britons, so he could go for the lumber camp earlier. So he's going to have a better fishing eco, but we at least have an extra boar. Not idling our villagers too much. We're going to go for a couple man-at-arms. My idea here is I want to keep him at his base as much as possible. I don't want him coming out to threaten me. The reality is, if he starts putting archer pressure on me, it starts to get real rough for Bulgarians, especially if he gets into castle with crossbows. With that extra range, he can idle so much of my eco. It's very hard to defend against Britons, especially if the pocket decides to come over and get in on the action. I'm going to start kind of walling really awkwardly around here. I'm not sure this is really that great of a wall. The reality is he can walk behind these trees with his Briton crossbows, idle my wood line, and the next closest wood line is all the way out here in no man's land, all the way out here in no man's land. Like, I have to go really far, and I'm not sure that's going to be defended too well. Our first one up is the Persian's pocket. He's going to go straight into scouts, it looks like. And Red's going for some really big walls. He wants to have a nice, secure, large base to work with, where I'm going with a tiny little pathetic egg base, which is just, I didn't want to build as many walls, but I also wanted to have a little bit of defense on my eco. You can see here I'm going for a little bit of gold, that way I can afford. I was thinking about doing maybe 4 man-at-arms, so I sent 3 there, but I ended up only doing 3, because I didn't feel like my food eco is good enough to go for 4. The next up, it looks like, is blue, and he's going for some big walls as well. He's got even bigger walls than red. Orange is going for more of an egg base. Yellow's going for some pretty solid walls. He'll have a pretty big base as well, it looks like. Next up, we have me and Mickey Sniff are both going up. And yeah, okay, basically everybody's up. Everybody's the feudal, pretty similar time. I'm getting out my last man-at-arms. Ideally, you'd want your 3 out before this, and you'd want them already over here. One of the nice things about Bulgarians is they get the instant man-at-arms upgrade. So if you have the militia already over there, you get the instantaneous power spike right there to do some damage with your man-at-arms. But I'm not that good of a player, so my guys aren't in the correct position. I'm going to run straight over here, get blocked by his archery range. I don't know if he saw that or not. He might have. But I'll end up walking all the way around here to try to do some damage. And he's going instantly for a blacksmith archer range, so he wants fleshing archers right away, right on the field. I'm also going to go for a fire ship right away. My plan is to basically fake him out over here with these men-at-arms, get him making archers, get him distracted with his eco, and then try to take this pond. If I can secure this pond, my food equal will be good for the rest of the game. I won't really have to make farms, and I can kind of control the game from there. That's my thought process. So that's what I'm going for. Did I already queue up? Yeah, I already queued up a fire ship, and I went to go look for him. Okay, I looked for him over here. I completely missed his fishing ship, so he gets probably a decent amount more food eco in than he should. As you'll see, I'm scouting over here, and I'm just completely blind and oblivious to the fact he's actually really close to my dock. My men-at-arms are in. They catch a villager. Someone over the wall. Villager runs away. But he's already got archers out. That's the reality of how slow this man-at-arms rush was, is he's already got archers out. It's not going to end up doing that much damage. I'm going to get him off his wood line, so that is still some damage there. It's going to idle his eco. It's going to make it so if I am fighting him over here, he doesn't have the wood eco, or as good of wood eco to build on water as well. I'm going to just run away with these things because I want to distract him for as long as possible, keep him away from coming to my eco. Yeah, so I scouted over here, didn't find anything. I ended up telling my villager to go build a dock here, and then I kind of lost my villager. My villager starts running like the huge way around. I have no idea where the villager went. And I'm just running around trying to be annoying with these men-at-arms, keep him distracted, while I'm just going for a tower on my stone line, because I'm planning to go for Krepost. And if I get these villagers knocked off the stone, then my Krepost Rush is dead. So I'm going to go for an early tower here. I am really worried about the Briton archer aggression. I got an archer kill there. I guess I tried to engage, and he didn't perfectly micro it. So you'll see I'm going on stone. I find his fish finally. I bought a galley because I thought, okay, he hasn't docked. Maybe he'll dock later, and I'll just deny it with a galley. I'll take out all his fish here. He's not going to fight me. I guess he's had too much idle time to want to fight for fish, but I think that's kind of a mistake. If you lose fish, that's such a huge eco bonus. That's the real advantage I had on red at this point. Other than that, his eco is pretty solid, pretty untouched. But I am going to... Well, yeah, I snuck this villager through here. I don't know how... I think this archer, like, found it, but then he queued all his archers away. Oh, I see what's happening. Green, my pocket's coming in with scouts. So I guess he saw these, and he's like, well, snap, I gotta go fight this. So he kind of let my villager live, because he had to regroup his archers. I was wondering why I survived there. I was bringing over my galley to protect it. But anyways, I go for a dock over here, so I can get a better eco going. Yeah, and so green will, I guess, fight his archers here, which is really big for me because it gives me a little bit of a leg up. I think yellow just went for a straight-up fast castle boom approach, so he has no scouts on the field. There wasn't really any feudal aggression between orange and blue and green and yellow. The only aggression we have is green going for some scouts, and he helped me out with red a little bit. And then I helped him finish some of those off with my galley over here. I'm just going to start adding fish now to get an expanded food lead here. And I'm going to try to work my way to castle, because I want to get to the Krepost, and I want to deny resources. I want to take them out of the game. Blue's, I guess, the next to castle. Green's the castle, so they're a little bit behind yellow, but it doesn't look like yellow went for a multiple TC approach. He went for kind of one. I don't know what exactly he's doing here. He might be he might be their weakest player on the team or something, because he went for a fast castle, but he didn't even add additional TC, so I don't know what is going on over here. He's not too far behind, though, because luckily green went for some scouts, and therefore maybe him going fast castle means he has a better eco going. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But anyways, I take out his dock, and I'm thinking about Castle Age now. I've got my buildings, my market, my blacksmith. Am I clicked up? Yeah, I'm clicked up. And I'm going to start moving out a large mass of villagers. My plan is I'm going to make a few man-at-arms. They're going to instantly become longswords, and I can use that to push away whatever archers he has. I think his numbers are low because he lost his archers over here to some scouts. And that way, if I have just a few man-at-arms, I can force down whatever Krepost I want, wherever I want it. What I'm going to go for is I'm going to go for right on this tree line right here. Ideally, with your first Krepost, or if you're doing a Krepost Rush or Castle Drop, is you want to take off resources, but you also ideally don't want them to know you're putting it down. I'm not sure what the vision is on these villagers, but I don't think they can see to here. So my idea is I'll take them off this wood line, maybe get a villager killer too, because it'll be a surprise. And on top of that, I won't get harassed while I'm trying to put this down. He could harass me with these 5 archers. He probably could kill some long swords, but if he doesn't see it, he's not going to know what's going up. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to get some vill kills, and it's going to force him to move wood lines, so it's going to cost him some wood. My next plan is, whenever you go in with the Krepost Rush, is you want to keep the next Krepost you put down within the range of the first Krepost. So I'm getting blacksmith upgrades like fletching, like bodkin arrow, so they can shoot farther, and I can push my Krepost farther as well. I'm going to then go for this one, so I can take the front of his base. I'm going to have some longswords come over here, start attacking his range. If I start deleting his ranges, he's going to need wood to replace those, to replace production. I'm going to start running away the weak villagers. He doesn't have fletching, he doesn't have any Castle Age upgrades. I guess I still lose a villager because I'm not microing it very well. I micro this one away and that one away, which are weak, I think. I'm going to start adding in conics. Conics are really great just for a nice power spike of extra pressure on the enemy. That he's not going to have anything great to deal with. I'm going to go over and put a mining camp here. If you don't have enough resources to keep putting down Krepost, ideally you want to just put a mining camp or a lumber camp or something up on the opponent's resources, so you don't have idle villagers here. This is probably a little bit stupid to have these much villagers idle, but my plan is this will go down quickly, and I'm going to go straight in for another Krepost to idle his entire farming eco. He has no fish, which means if I idle this farming eco, then he has no food, which means he has to get a whole bunch more farms, which means he's not going to be able to make more crossbows because he doesn't have the wood for it. Now right here, I'm going to go for this Krepost. He could deny this. He could kill villagers. I'm going to sacrifice this military. This is just meat shield military is what I have right here now. I'm just trying to delay him from shooting my villagers so I can get the Krepost up. So I'll start engaging here. I think I'm going to try to start dodging with my villagers, but I'm not succeeding. And my Krepost will start killing his crossbows because he got a little bit too close. So I delay him just enough. I kill just enough of his crossbows that he doesn't start one-shotting my villagers. I push him back, and I go straight back to putting this down. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going to get this up. Send 2 more villagers over to try to help get it up. Try to pump out a couple more conics to put pressure on to keep his crossbows off my villagers getting this Krepost up. It's extremely important that you succeed on your Kreposts in getting them up, because if you don't, you lose a whole bunch of progress on getting your enemy off economy. So I've just idled all his farms here. That's a huge blow. Although I lost a bunch of villagers and I lost a bunch of conics, I still idled a ton of things here, and I also killed a lot of his military too. My eco at home's not great. Ideally, I think you'd want to add at least like a second TC. If I was a better player, I probably would be able to do that. I have the farming eco. I should really be able to boom behind this because I'm not spending a bunch of resources here. Just a little bit on conics. My next plan is, I know he has a stone back here. I know he has a gold back here. I want to move on, and I want to get one more Krepost down right about here to try to idle these two big resources to get him to move again. Luckily, he has one more stone, or one more gold back here, so he's a little bit safe on those resources. He'll still have something to fall back on. But the idea is I'm taking him away and taking him off all his precious resources. Meanwhile, our opponents are going for some crossbow, siege aggression, and I believe Yellow's going to start pumping knights pretty decently. He's only on 2 TCs, while the Persian player went for 3 TCs, so he's definitely booming a lot better than the British beef guy on our team. In contrast, though, it seems like our Ethiopian player seems to be booming a decent amount better than our blue player here. You can see up at the top, our ecos are 72 vils for orange, 77 for yellow. Is that right? Yeah, I guess he has more eco than I thought he did. Maybe he just has a ton of fishing ships I didn't realize. It's probably because he has so many fishing ships. I think this is an overboom here. Anyways, I got out some more conics, and I'm going for my next Krepost. I got some more conics, that way I could pressure him here, and I could get this next Krepost up, because I want to idle him off these resources here. I'm pushing these crossbows back as far as possible, because I don't want to lose any more villagers to this. I want to idle him, I want to get him off. These conics are solely just to make sure I get this Krepost up. They get some kills, but I'm probably not taking a great trade here. The main trade I'm taking is I'm taking out his gold, I'm pushing him back further, taking more of his economy from him. Meanwhile, back at home, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm doing this, I probably want to go for Imperial, because I see him putting up this castle. I'm thinking, I wanted to go for another Krepost, but I see he's getting this castle down. I think he has more crossbows at this point. I'm going to let him get that castle up, because I don't think I'm going to beat him to it. And instead, I'm going to go back, mine some gold. I'm going to start working my way towards Imperial, go for a castle. That way I can trap down this castle, and his eco will be hopefully pretty naked and afraid. This is the bulk of the Krepost Rush here, is this one right here. Pushed him off all of his main eco, made him move his entire economy, did a bunch of damage, and he's looking pretty rough for wear. I've definitely taken him off his game plan of what he wants to do as Britons. Now it looks like the Ethiopian player is going for some heavy aggression with Yellow is assisting him. We got plume archers and some knights versus a bunch of crossbows, some mangonels and knights. Right now I think they have the military advantage. He's a little bit slower on the plumes. But maybe we take some good trades here. Not 100% sure. Looks like we're going to take the mangoes, but lose a lot of knights in the process. That'll slow down their aggression, but it also gives them a pretty good military advantage on our team over here. I finally got enough stone for a castle, and I'm starting to look towards going to Imp in terms of saving up my resources. So I'm starting to mine a bunch of gold, and I added a lot more fishing ships. Still not a ton, especially compared to our opponents here, who have... How many fishing ships do they have? If I can double click this correctly. They have 18 and... how much? 18 and 13, whereas on my pond, I just have 15. They have about twice as many fishing ships on their one pond as I have on my pond in this corner. And of course, my team has one dock here, and blue is also one docked as well. So I think they have kind of an overfish boom. And their aggression seems to be paying off in terms of damage they're doing. But they might get finally ambushed here. Seems like blue is doing pretty well with the fact he got up to Imp, he's got chemistry. And he's got some really juiced up plumes. They're probably going to be able to hold this off. I, meanwhile, am working on going to an Imp I just clicked up. And I'm going to start adding some conics here. And eventually, oh yeah, here I am. I'm deciding, you know what, I did a lot of damage to red. I see that yellow is forward. I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to do some damage to his eco. A lot of times this is a great thing to do if you're a flank and you don't have somewhere to use your military. Look at doing damage to the pocket. Generally, the pocket's the one who's going to be in the carry position. They have the most boomed eco usually. They're going to have the power units like the Lithuanian Knights. And so I'm thinking if I do damage here, I can really put him off his game. It can counteract the balance of the damage they did to green and put our team in a really good position. So I'm just going in for a lot of Vil kills here. I see he's going to start getting out knights. I'm thinking, you know what? I don't want to fight these knights here. I want to keep these conics alive to help do damage to red later. I'm going to finish killing off a couple more Vils here, and I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to run out here. I killed 10 Vils. I'm out. I distracted him. Hopefully that did some damage to yellow and gives green an advantage for the pocket versus pocket. Red, I think, was thinking about sending some crossbows over to help yellow, but I'm already booking it out of there, so he's maybe rethinking that. Maybe he's going to go back into his eco to try to make sure he's defending his economy back here. Ultimately, I'm thinking I'm going to want to drop a Krepost here, because I know all of his eco's right here, and it can idle pretty much everything. as well as I'm considering doing a Krepost on yellow, because it can idle his entire wood line here, and maybe even some of his farms here, depending on how far our range is for that. So I'm going to start adding more conics now. I just want to get a good ball of these, because these conics are going to help me overwhelm his crossbow numbers. When I get to Imp, I get the 2 additional Pierce armor from the plate barding. These conics will do way better against these crossbows, because the crossbows, instead of doing a whopping, 4 damage, they're going to be doing 2 damage. So it's like 50% less damage we're going to be taking. You don't know, that's a huge damage reduction, and it's going to be massive for our conics being able to just hammer through these crossbows. So I got the Imp. I'm going to start going for a Trev instantly, and of course on my Blacksmith, I'm going for plate barding right away. The other thing I love about Bulgarians is the 50% less food cost. You can afford to do a lot of the Blacksmith upgrades. I always am going for the Bodkin, the arrow upgrades, just to make sure our Krepost can deny more resources, as well as kill more villagers. And then going for the military upgrades to help make our conics do better against crossbows doesn't hurt either. I'm thinking I'm going to go over here for a Krepost. I want to get right out of the game. I want to finish killing him so I can move on to killing yellow. The plan is to finish the game, take it over, win it. Seems like yellow and orange are losing some steam. I think our team is starting to take some advantage. They got the plumes. They're mobile now. The main player is really in a really solid position. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get resisted too hard. Initially, I was thinking, oh, I could go drop a Krepost on him, maybe, but I really wanted to just go to red. I want to kill him. I want to get him out of the game. So I'm trimming down his castle. I'm going to start putting some more conics over here. I started bringing these villagers forward. I'm not sure if I'm thinking about doing just a double Krepost, just a Krepost right on that guy right afterwards, or maybe I needed the stone here. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, I'm trimming down the castle, going for the Krepost here, and I'm going to go in and start slaughtering his eco. I could, honestly, with the military numbers here, I could have been more aggressive with this Krepost. I guess I started attacking this because I thought it was walled off, even though there's a hole there. But anyways, we're in. We're doing lots of damage. We have 5 Pierce Armor versus archers that do 7 damage. So this really should be a very clean fight for us. We should just completely take these out. And I'm going to go straight in for the kill shot. The Krepost, I will idle everything he has left. And I'm sending in the additional conics I'm making on this side. Going to start trimming down this TC. Red's dead at this point. Krepost Rush has been successful. And we have we've defeated the Briton flank as Bulgarians. It's not always going to work. It's going to be hard with Archer Civs. Archer Civs, as you saw here, I took a ton of losses. If they prioritize the villagers first and they get them out of the picture, you can be in a very bad position. The idea is you want to send enough villagers where you're sure you're going to get the Krepost up, and you want enough conics or men-at-arms or swordsmen on the field. Maybe even add skirms could be a good play, just so that way you can protect these Kreposts as you're going and putting them up. So they're calling the GG. I think Yellow just resigned. He said, I'm out of here. I think Red's going to resign shortly. I mean, he's pretty much dead. And then Orange might stay in it for a little bit because he thinks I have some Arbalests, but this game has been over. So that is a look into one of my favorite strategies to use, the Bulgarian Krepost Rush. I'm sure at a higher level game, you know, you get into the pro games, this probably doesn't work as well. But for me, when I've played in doing team games, I haven't done too many 1v1s, but when I've been playing flanks in terms of like a 1v1 position in a team game, it's worked pretty much the majority of the time. There's been a few failures where I just haven't executed it well, but for the most part, if you come prepared enough for it and you have good locations to put the Krepost down, along with some surprise factor, you can do a lot of damage. And you can take players who should have better civs in terms of the matchup you're playing. You can take them out of the game, and you can get them with the surprise factor. So that is the game. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the little matchup we had here. As for economy, I'm sure our economy was pretty trash. I guess we had the fishing eco, so maybe we were decent. Red got kind of brutalized there for economy, but I don't know if that's just factoring in what he had at the end there. But anyways, more of what we did basically was all winning it through military. I guess Mickey Sniff, he must have done pretty good against blue and green, but it was not enough. I think the real factor for helping us win this game was yellow seemed like he maybe wasn't as strong of a player, wasn't as used to playing a pocket position as maybe green was. And if he was there to help red, it maybe would have been a completely different story, but he wasn't, and it ended up being a nice little 1v1 between me, and I got to take out my anger on the player using Britons. as a flank position, because it's not exactly the most original pick, because it's just so strong, and of course it is a great flank. Anyways, that's the video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. We took a nice 140 to 50 KD ratio, so we did decent there. And yeah, that's the Bulgarian Krepost Rush. Would highly recommend. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.